It's a normal day in the beautiful Indian city of Goa. It's round 3 of a tournament I am playing in great form. The game is supposed to start at 9:30 am and for the first time in my life, I wake up at 9:45 only to reach the tournament hall 5 minutes before forfeit time. That was a warning from God himself. My opponent is a 1500 rated player and with a more than 400 rating point difference, I expect to cruise through even with the limited time. He starts playing very quickly in the opening. I assume for the time being it's all preparation. As we enter the middle game, my opponent barely stops for a think, playing every single move in seconds. This pattern continues into the end game when I reach a hopeless position with 30 seconds on the clock and my opponent has literally used just 4 minutes for the entire game. What exactly happened here? Was my opponent a genius or was there something fishy? Let's find out. With cheating in chess coming to the forefront since the Carlsen-Niemann controversy, everybody is speculating how we can actually cheat over the board. It just seems impossible. From beads being inserted into different parts of the body to hands being an alien, we have heard it all at this point. Let's break it down how I figured out my opponent was cheating, and you might see some similarities to what Carlsen feels as well. I am also going to leave the engine open right here throughout this video so you can see how gradually his moves come to the top. As I arrived over the board for my game, my opponent offered a cheeky smile and a nervous handshake, similar to what you might see on a first date. I didn't read too much into it at that point, so I went to business, playing the opening moves very quickly. So e4, c5, knight c3, e6, and after f4, d5, he plays the move bishop b5 check, bishop d7, takes and queen takes, e takes, and he quickly plays knight to f3, preparing knight e5. I play knight to c6, he castles. I play bishop e7, avoiding any rook e1 ideas. He plays knight to e5. Now if I take, f takes, and the f file opens up, I go back to d8 and he plays queen to h5 in just 15 seconds, threatening mate on f7. I have to play the move g6 at this point, and he takes on c6 again in seconds. At this point, I'm a bit nervous, so I exchange queens even at the cost of doubling my pawns, but I feel I'm the stronger player. I will outplay him easily in the endgame. Always keep an eye on the engine. He played d3 and then knight comes out to f6, and then he plays knight to e2, which is so unorthodox for somebody who's 1500. I simply play king to d7, trying to keep my king in the center, and then bishop to d2, connecting his rooks. Now this is where everything changed. In this moment, I realized I am worse. These double pawns are a big nuisance, and I calculated for 25 minutes. I took so much time to figure out how can I get rid of this pawn in the best way or use it for counterplay. And I realized if I play the move h4, which I did, the only way white can gain an edge is to play king h1 on the next move. If he doesn't do it, I think I equalize. And as soon as I played h4, within 15 seconds he plays king to h1. Now I was a bit suspicious. Rook at g8, rook at e1, and now knight to h5. And can you guess what he played next? Knight to g1. I don't know how many 1500s you have faced, but knight to g1 is a top class move. The kind of move that you might see grandmasters play, not a 1500. The idea is to play knight f3 and then come to e5 and harass my king. So I am in good form in this tournament. So I am also playing the best moves for now, but I am taking 5 to 30 minutes per move and he is taking 5 to 30 seconds. Now bishop to f6, knight comes out to f3, rook d to e8. So now, for example, when he plays knight to e5, I can take with my bishop and he will not capture with the rook. So at least my king is relatively safe. He takes with the f pawn and I calmly put my king to e6, where it not only puts pressure on the e5 pawn, but is actually pretty safe. The rook f2 now from him, doubling up rooks on the f file, at least so it seems to be. But then after rook e7, he plays c3. What the hell is c3? Well, of course, the idea is technically to play d4, and that's why I play rook to g4 to prevent it for now. Now he continues with his other plan, rook e to f1, and I just come back to g6 with my rook. And now bishop to e3. I defend my pawn with b6, and now d4. I take on d4, he takes back, and I take the c file with rook to c7, and I challenge you to find his next move, which is, as you will see, also the preference of the engine. I challenge you, find it. He plays the move a4. A damn 4. What is the damn idea of A4 now? At this point, I was pretty sure something is not right. I wasn't exactly sure if he was cheating, like taking external help, or something else was the problem. I also noticed his friend moving around the game quite a bit. I kept an eye on him, but I couldn't notice anything directly suspicious. And I kept playing the game, looking for more evidence and also trying to play the best moves. So just in case, if this is actually not cheating, I end up winning the game. But this feeling of being suffocated gradually, these moves coming up which stifle every single counterplay you have, was so difficult to face against, and it's very difficult to put into words. Very similar to what Carlsen may have felt. I play knight to g7 and he plays rook to f4, and now I simply play the move h5. And now rook 1 to f3. Are you freaking kidding me? What the hell is the idea now? Imagine having ideas of back rank mate hanging on your neck and playing rook 1 to f3. Somebody please write down in the comments what is the idea, because I have been searching for it for the past many years now. And here I play the move h3 to introduce some complications here. You can see how both my rooks can launch some attacking chances now. He takes it with the pawn, and now knight to e8. He plays rook to f1 back, so completely removing any counterplay, and I play rook to g7. At this point, I'm just waiting. Rook to f5, rook to c2, going for some counterplay. At last, rook takes h5, rook takes b2, and now rook to h8. And by this time, I'm literally looking at the arbiter's desk, looking back again and again, whether I should get up and complain now. I'm literally playing on the increment and have been playing on increment for the past, I would say, 5 to 7 moves, and he still has 1 hour and 27 minutes on the clock. He started with 1 hour 30. As he notices me looking back towards the arbiter's desk, I notice him getting slightly anxious, and suddenly he plays bishop h6, which is not on the top preference of the engines, but it also doesn't spoil anything, because now I play rook g to g2, threatening mate in 2 with my rooks, and he simply drops the bishop back. Imagine going from playing like a perfect engine to attacking the rook in a useless move. You literally have to move the bishop back. Now after rook f2, rook takes, I basically have lost any sort of counterplay. The h pawn is coming up. He plays bishop g3, and here, after playing rook to f5, I basically resigned. Now you might look at the evaluation and say it's only plus 1.5 or so, but for me it was pretty clear. I was not playing a human. There was no way I would win this game. There's a stage set up for the arbiter. I quickly go to him, and these were my rough words. Hello sir, I am Sahil Tikku, and I was playing Jeel Shah on that board. I just lost my game in a way I have never lost in my entire life. I have played strong IEMs and GMs in my life, but never have I experienced something like this, especially to a 1500 rated player. He is cheating in some way. I don't know exactly how. And just as I am telling this to the arbiter, I look to my left, and there he is, trying to figure out what I am saying to the arbiter. He was worried. If someone hasn't cheated, they cannot hear me. Why would they be waiting? The arbiter first, of course, kind of dismissed me a little bit, but he said he will keep an eye on the player. And as I left the stage, he asked me, the opponent asked me, what were you talking to the arbiter about? I mean, if you are innocent, why the hell you care? You played the best game of your life, buddy. Go home now, celebrate. Why do you look a bit worried? I didn't say that to him, of course. I didn't want to warn him. I went back to my room and analyzed the game with the engines, and it was very obvious to me that almost all the moves were the top choices of the engine. When I came back for round 4 in the evening, I also told the arbiter that, and at that point he took me a bit seriously. But as they had no evidence, the arbiters just kept an eye on the guy from a distance. I could see them keeping an eye and noticing his moves, and that cheater won yet again in crushing fashion, defeating another stronger player. Seeing this, the next day one of the arbiters was standing right next to the cheater for almost the entire game. And guess what happened? Take a guess. How well did he play? I was focused more on this game than my own game at this point, and that cheater lost a piece and an exchange in 11 moves and resigned. That was his true level. I was devastated. I lost 19 rating points to this cheater. As the cheater doesn't get caught, he's emboldened. He goes to another tournament and takes it up a notch now. He defeats international masters now, back to back in line. And in his game against Arghadip Das, also an international master, he is crushing the IM in a similar situation with using no time on his clock. This is what the international master had to say about him. During the game itself, the IM complained about the player and the arbiters came and stood next to him. And suddenly, he went from completely winning to completely lost. At the end of the game, they checked his bag to find a phone which was switched on and in silent mode, but still no clear evidence. But everybody was missing something very, very sinister. He went to Dubai to play a tournament, but then again in round 3, one player got suspicious. As they started to inspect him carefully, voila, there it was. He was hiding a mobile phone under his sleeves. Oh my God. When I heard about this, I almost cried. These morons think cheating others out of their hard-earned rating is a joke. Since that tournament, he hasn't played a single chess game. And the worst part is, he used to use these great wins to show himself off as a coach. He has no clue about how to play chess and he is teaching others and dupes them of money as well. I don't know how he cheated in my game though, because in the Dubai Open, there was live transmission. So somebody could help him easily. In my game, there was no live transmission. He did have a friend standing very close to the chessboard. I know this because when he left the tournament hall, he left with that guy. However, I could not really see, hear or feel any sort of vibration in his bag, sleeves or wherever. How he exactly cheated will be a mystery, but I think he kept changing the location of the phone so that he never gets caught. Some people say cheaters should be banned for 6 months or 1 year. I feel furious when I hear that. Over the board cheating is really different to online chess. If someone cheats in online chess, I basically waste 5 minutes of my life and it's very likely they will get caught and the rating will also be refunded. But when somebody cheats in over the board chess, I lose the money I spent on coaching, travel, accommodation, entry fee, prize money, and also that rating is never refunded. This guy was caught more than 1 year later to my tournament. I never got those 19 points back and so did none of the players whom he played. There's a huge difference between other sports in chess. When an athlete dopes in swimming, they get an advantage of maybe 5%. But once you cheat in chess, the game is basically over. And surprisingly enough, this was not the only time I faced over the board cheating. This one was quite different. Even the police was involved. The cheater never got caught.